Welcome to Rochdale and welcome to this fantastic Rochdale Town Hall. This magnificent building is testimony to the working class graft and working class craft that make the cooperative values of this town so special. But it's not a relic. This is a point you'll be hearing hopefully a lot over the next 2 days. This is a living, breathing building, just as thanks to the local Rochdale Council, which is a cooperative council. It's in community use every single day. And I wanted to make the point that the co-op movement itself is a living, breathing thing, obviously. It's not a historic relic. It's a living, breathing force for social justice in Rochdale, in the UK, and across the world. And that's why we're so delighted to have so many international delegates today. I can't tell you how proud I am of this building, but I also can't tell you how proud I am to be the very first cooperative MP for Rochdale. It's a bit of a historical quirk of the previous Labour MPs. Other previous Labour MPs, and thanks to co-op's rules, weren't allowed to become a Labour and co-op after election, but I wanted to be the Labour and co-op before election, so I've always been the Labour and co-op MP. But through thick and thin, no matter how all the mud is thrown at this town, I just want to say, no matter how tough things are, the one thing that we've always been able to tell the world is that we're the birthplace of an amazing social movement of cooperation. For me, it's personal. The very fact that 4 of our original 28 pioneers, the Weavers and the Warpers, came from Spotland Bridge, where I grew up, just makes me so proud of all that working class ingenuity, the self-help, and the reliance that they showed 181 years ago to set up in the first place. So when you see, and you go into Toad Hall, you see all the addresses of those pioneers. It's got Milkstone, Drake Street, John Street, Shawclough, Lower Place, and Toad Lane itself. You just see that the co-op has roots in every single street in this town. I love too the fact that our 7 sisters, the tower blocks that are a symbol of our town, were numbered to match the 7 Rochdale principles of the co-op movement. That's why there are 7 of them. And they're as valid as ever, those principles. Democratic control, 1 member, 1 vote, pure and unadulterated goods, that's more important than ever. Religious tolerance, more important than ever. And obviously cooperation amongst co-ops at home and abroad, that genuine sense of social solidarity. I mentioned self-help, and it's worth saying just how much of an enduring working class value self-help is. And many people hate the idea, certainly in Rochdale, of handouts or things being done to them. They want to do things for themselves, and that's what this movement is all about. Long before a certain blonde buffoon came about talking about take back control, the co-op movement knew all about it in the first place. The reason I'm proud to be the cooperative parliamentarian is precisely because it's only through government that actually you can create the conditions that help co-ops thrive. And mutuals as well. Just as the Labour movement realised in 1900 it needed a political party with the trade unions. In 1917 we set up the Cooperative Party precisely because the government at the time was blocking cooperatives. And later our alliance with our sister party, the Labour Party, went on to strength. And just one early example of that, and everyone shouldn't forget this, is that the NHS, which is 77 years old this weekend, was inspired by cooperative values, working people pooling resources to build local democratic healthcare, like the Tredegar Medical Aid Society in South Wales. As Nye Bevan said, all I'm doing is extending the entire population of Britain the benefits we've had in Tredegar for a generation or more. And in 2024, we now have a Labour government that has cooperative party members right at its heart, shaping policy as never before. We've got 43 MPs, a record number, 5 Metro mayors, 1,500 councillors, and government ministers in key roles. Jim McMahon from next door in Oldham is a superb local government minister. Alex Norris, who was here the other week, is an excellent levelling up or growth minister, as we call it. Most of all, Johnny Reynolds is the business secretary, and he's got cooperation at the heart of his economic and growth strategy. And crucially, our manifesto commitment to doubling the size of the cooperative economy is absolutely central to everything we're doing. It's been an historic year. We've had our first ever meeting of the co-op parliamentary group in Downing Street. And as many of you will have known and attended, co-ops and mutuals were invited for the first time ever to number 10 for a reception to confirm that role of the co-op movement at the heart of our economic growth strategy. We've got the Co-ops and Mutual Council created for a new collaboration between government and co-ops. But it's worth saying that this movement itself was born out of hard times in those Victorian times, and it came into its own throughout hard times in history. Even recently during the pandemic and the cost of living crisis, the cooperative group itself, the shops helped many with the cost of living crisis, striking a chord with people who just couldn't keep their heads above water without affordable food and healthy food, and giving something back to the local community. The co-op group, I'm really pleased to say, has grown to 5.2 million active member owners and expects that to grow to 8 million by 2030, which is incredible. That proves, again, the cooperative movement is not a relic. It's not some minority pursuit. It is very relevant to every one of our lives here and now. And the stats speak for themselves. The total income of the co-op and mutual economy has reached a record £165 billion. The sector's 9,000 businesses employ more than 1.3 million people. Memberships of co-ops and mutuals has risen by 2.8% to 68 million people. Cooperative new starts are more than twice as likely to survive their first years as a normal business. And one thing that we all hopefully will celebrate later, 49% increase in community-owned pubs in the last 5 years. The Co-op brand also has taken on new life with the Co-op Live in Manchester, I'm pleased to say. I have a sharp pang of Rochdale pride whenever I see a Co-op throughout the country, but when I went to see Pulpit Co-op Live recently and I saw all the concert goers queuing up to the Co-op in that building, it was particularly special. So co-ops are cool again, and speaking of cool, local lad Steve Coogan, you can't get cooler than him, and he's going to be talking about how Middleton's own cooperative movement is really going from strength to strength. The Co-op Bank, I'm pleased to say, is back and in mutual hands with the Coventry Building Society, and I'm delighted to say the Co-op Bank is helping sponsor all these events in the next few days. I'm also so pleased we've got Lucy Powell, the Leader of the Commons, speaking today, the queen of our legislative programme, and it's a cooperative set of bills and laws we're introducing. We're overseeing the biggest expansion in support for community energy in history, as Ed Miliband said. We've worked with the community energy and has put it on the face of the GB Energy Bill, so it's integral to that movement for change. And it's fine having wind farms and community benefit, but what we really want is community ownership. We don't just want the crumbs from the table, we want the actual energy itself to bring a regular income to local communities across the country. Community right to buy, again, is really essential, included in our English Devolution White Paper, and the Treasury, believe it or not, is finally switching on to cooperatives and trying to make life easier, talking to regulators, making sure that we've got a law commission switching the law and the legal impediments to many mutuals and cooperatives. Retail crime, community right to buy are key to our legislative changes, but also help for credit unions and a small business strategy. Not forgetting the Bright Future Co-op project, which helps modern slavery victims into employment. And after the spending review, we've now got 350 more communities that are going to take control of funding by giving them the power to improve parks, youth facilities, swimming pools and libraries, all day-to-day things that impact on every person's life. But most of all, the cooperative movement is about individuals working together. And here in Rochdale, I just wanted to shout out two great examples. David Templeman is a farmer who owns Warland Farm up in the moorlands on the border with Yorkshire. It's a remote place, hard to reach for those energy giants. So he decided he wanted to do a co-op energy plan. So he's got a community energy scheme, he's got a grant now, and he's going to combat with using the stream on his land. He's going to use hydropower and solar power on the farm to combat fuel poverty amongst that hamlet that he lives in. A really good example of self-help that this cooperative movement's all about. Rachel Law is another fantastic person locally. She runs Possibilities, which is a social enterprise, she's a former Rochdale Council adult care member of staff, and they provide invaluable daycare services and respite care for people with learning disabilities and their families. And just as a mark of just how brilliant they are, the Care Quality Commission inspection rated them as outstanding, one of the only adult social care services in the country out of 89 inspected to get that. That says everything about the quality, the innovation, the agility that co-ops can bring to crucial services like adult and social care. There are lots of other examples you can learn about at this Congress, particularly in the New Pioneers session. Everyone's going to hopefully attend, and what Andy Burnham's doing, thankfully, through the GMCA. But finally, I just wanted to say a little bit about the Rochdale principle of cooperation amongst cooperatives and that sense of international solidarity, which is really significant in this United Nations year. The international solidarity of this great movement is summed up with our links, particularly with our colleagues in Palestine. Us co-op groups, co-op MPs and the cooperative group held a very moving meeting in Parliament with Sama Saleha and Nir Sharon, both from the cooperative peace village in Israel of Wahat El Salam, Nev Shalom. Co-op group CEO Shireen Kurihak, who as many of you know is half Palestinian, was really proud to attend that meeting because it showed that despite everything, there are people working at the grassroots level for peace and for reconciliation and are trying against the odds not to hate their neighbour and to build together. And that village itself, where kids go together at the same school, they're educated together, they work together, their parents, they're a beacon of hope in what is, to be frank, a really, really dark time. And I know that Shireen herself is also really proud that the co-op stocks Palestinian goods, such as the olive oil for Zaytun, and here in Rochdale, we're going to try and build on those links. The practical things we can do, despite everything that's happening, to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine and trade with them is absolutely crucial. I'm so proud that the co-op has a policy of banning settlement of goods as well, and I think it's really, really important. On my own trip to Israel and the West Bank this spring, I saw for myself the common bonds between that Jewish kibbutzim movement and Palestinian co-ops, which power communities. Both have a strong tradition of self-help. Both work the same landscape, a beautiful landscape. Both have women often at the heart of their co-ops, particularly the finance co-ops. And talking to them was a powerful reminder that conflict zones across the world have recovered from conflict thanks to co-ops. And that's whether it's in Africa or it's in Asia, and hopefully it's going to be in the Middle East too. Cooperation is the antidote to hate, and I think that's one of the most powerful social values of this movement that we can all be proud of. In Ramallah, I met the Cooperative Union of Palestine Cooperatives, and they've been a vibrant part of the Palestinian economy in the West Bank and Gaza for many years. There's 800 cooperatives covering agriculture, housing, banking, retail, and artisan crafts, like the crafts that build this building, and credit unions. But of the 25 co-op HQ buildings in Gaza, 3 have survived. The General Cooperative Union in Gaza City was obliterated. More than 85% of cooperative housing blocks have been destroyed in Gaza. Yet the co-ops themselves, the people and their cooperative movements, have survived. Their priority has been providing immediate relief for fellow Gazans living in tents. They shared with me video footage of how miraculously, amid the rubble in Gaza, agricultural co-ops are growing seedlings for strawberries, peppers, aubergines, trying to rebuild an income amid the rubble. These are literally the green shoots of hope amid all that despair. So yes, we need change, but we also need hope. And that's exactly what this cooperative movement does. Whether it's in Rochdale or Ramallah, this movement and its resilience are needed never more than ever before. Thanks very much.